Good luck to the people that are watching this, and hopefully you make the decision to obviously go and just enjoy it. It's, as I say, everybody's on a journey, and your journey will be different, but start it. You gotta start somewhere.
I'm Dr. Shamini Tablanche, ex-corporate and academia girl, turned CEO and board member of several companies, and mother of 4 little extraordinary kids. But it wasn't that long ago that I lacked the confidence, the know-how, and the time to focus on designing and really going after the life that I so wanted to live. A life of freedom, of fairness, and of being fair dinkum to who I really was and what I wanted to get out of this fleeting time that we have on Mother Earth. Fast forward to many lessons learned and moving halfway around the world to the most amazing country, you'll see the life that I now live. One that gives me more safety and freedom than I ever thought would be possible, and that really only existed as a daydream while I was living in South Africa. I created Shamini TV to give you true spot advice on how you can also live a life in this amazing country, and so that you can see how another couple like us now live in Australia with 4 little kids here in Down Under. And I'll be providing you with step-by-step strategies so that you can make your Aussie dream a reality too. If you're a keen future Aussie who's looking to create a life that excites you and offers you safety, freedom, and opportunity, you have come to the right place, my friend. Welcome aboard.
Hi Ryan, welcome to our episode today, and thanks for joining us all the way from beautiful Ballina. Please tell us about Ballina.
Thanks, Shamini. Yeah, so it's been a very interesting introduction to Ballina. Coming from Joburg, my impression of Australia was very, very different. Joburg, we probably have about maybe 1,000 mils of rain if you're lucky a year. And it's been a bit of a baptism of fire. I think we had 400 mils just in the first 2 months of when we arrived. And in this year alone as well, I think we've maybe had 4 days where it hasn't rained. So you've got this mental picture of Australia as this dry, barren countryside. And it's definitely not like that on the East Coast. We're having
maybe
a very
in the
wet
middle
summer.
And near Uluru or somewhere, but yes, for the rest of the country where it's green, it has a lot of rainfall. So why Ballina? How did you land in Ballina, and when did you guys come over?
Okay, so we came over in June last year. We flew out of South Africa on the 6th of June in 2021. And why Ballina is actually, it's part of the journey. It just so happened that we landed in Ballina because that's where my wife got a job, and that's where the sort of whole visa path led us to arriving in Ballina. So it is very much sort of designed. We didn't land here because we thought Ballina would be a good place to come and settle. It was a place where we got the visa, and so that's where we landed.
Okay, so what was that visa?
Okay, so we'd submitted an expression of interest a while back on a permanent residency, highly skilled visa. I think it's 189, because my wife's a physiotherapist. That was a sort of route that we thought we'd have the best chance of getting in on the points basis. And during COVID, when things were getting quite dark in South Africa, and we had a lot of things to think about in the future for our kids. And the only way at that stage, because the borders were closed, the only way that people were getting into Australia was on a work sponsor visa as well. So we moved away from the 189 path, and my wife had found via Facebook on one of the groups there that they were offering employment with the potential to look at a permanent residence visa. So I think we came in on a 186. I think that was the number. And it was obviously a permanent residence visa, which when you've got kids is very valuable. So we both agreed that the temp visas weren't going to be an option for us, just because of the extra costs involved with daycare and that. And so we were very lucky in that we explored the opportunity, and it just turned out that they were prepared to look at the permanent residency for us. So very lucky, and we jumped at the opportunity when it came through.
So how long from seeing the job, applying, until the 6th of June last year?
Okay, so we changed the sort of application from the 189 to the 186. I think that was around December, and by February we had the offer, and we were here in June. So it was pretty quick.
Wow, that is quick. And you didn't really consider coming to Australia long before then, long before looking at the job?
So my wife's parents and her brother lives up on the Gold Coast here. So we were always planning to come. It was a sort of an emergency escape plan. You know, that's why we were looking at the 189, a sort of long term. You know, we probably had a 2 or 3 year horizon, and that was seriously accelerated by COVID and the opportunity that we got presented. And we just decided, listen, this is a good time. If there's no time like the present. The kids were, you know, at an age now where they were starting to go into, you know, your primary school systems and that sort of thing. And we just thought, you know, to uproot them later on, it was, I mean, it's traumatic anyway, but if we waited, it would probably be worse. So we decided to take the quick route.
And what do you do, Ryan? Because you mentioned something just before we got online about working over weekends.
Yeah, so I'm in the finance industry. I'm a career banker, basically. So been in banking for probably 20 years of my life, and that's been spent, you know, London, South Africa for the last 14 years, and then just so happened to land back in the banking industry when I've got here now. So I've been watching your show for a while as well, just whilst I was getting prepared to come over. And I actually used to work with one of your previous guests, Justin. So,
all right.
Yeah,
awesome.
so we've been changing notes and sort of catching up, and he's been guiding me to say, okay, I'll do this, look at this, don't look at this. So yeah, it's been very handy, and also picked up a couple of tips. I'm hoping that something that we say here will help somebody else down the line here. So
oh, fingers crossed. Yeah, and thank you so much for letting us know that it well, essentially the one hand helps the other hand, and so we try and keep the ball, you know, moving, rolling, so that we can just get more people in who want to get in, who can get in, but just don't know all those odds and ins and outs, and also just making it a little bit more known. And the anxiety, just by sharing your story and also sharing the fact that you had anxiety is really good, because people often think, oh, it's an easy thing, you know, you just make a decision and you hop on a plane and then you're there, and it's like, so how old are your kids, Ryan?
I've got 2. My son is 3 and my daughter's 7.
3 and 7. So one in school and one in daycare.
Yeah.
Like, and your son goes to daycare, or is he managed at home somewhat between you and your wife?
So we've literally, and that's another product of COVID since we've arrived, has been obviously we live in a regional area here. So the resources are designed for your local residents, and with COVID you've had this massive immigration out of your big CBDs like Sydney and Melbourne, and it's put a lot of pressure on regional areas where people are coming for the lifestyle, so that they don't have these aggressive lockdowns anymore. But what it's done, it's put a lot of pressure on those resources, so we haven't been able to get him into a daycare until now in January. So he started on the 10th of January, and it's allowed me to actually
freedom for mom and dad. Okay, so tell me about your wife's experience with the moving over and settling into the new job. How has that treated her between what it was like being a physio in South Africa versus coming into her job here?
So it's quite different, I suppose, as a healthcare practitioner in South Africa, especially in that line. You know, you've got a lot of the guys are self-employed in South Africa. So to come over and to learn how the billing is done in the healthcare system here, it's a very corporate structure, as opposed to, you know, what we're used to in South Africa. So all the stresses in that are, it was a tough 6 months to sort of come in and settle whilst, you know, we sort of moved into a new place, and then we got locked out of Queensland, so we didn't have a support network with a family either. So it was a very steep learning curve very early on, but it was good.
And then about your daughter and her settling into the school, how did that go?
She did really well. I think at that age, so she's only 7 years old, and it would never have occurred to me that I'd be putting my 7-year-old on a bus that, you know, she's got complete reign to get on and off that bus wherever she wanted to. She catches the bus to school outside of our house, and the school is probably a 15-minute driveway, but I would never have thought that would have been possible 6 months ago, and she's adapted incredibly quickly into the system. She's made some awesome friends, and yeah, I've been very happy. You know, that's the whole reason why we moved, was for the kids and you know, for their safety and everything. So yeah, it's been really good, a really good experience.
Yeah. Have you guys been able to venture out much? I know it's been COVID, yeah. But have you seen Byron Bay?
so we've started venturing out more. We've done some really nice hikes. We live in a very beautiful area, and there's some good hiking trails and some nice waterfalls and stuff around this area that we've discovered over the last couple of weeks. So we've only scratched the tip of the iceberg, but there's some really beautiful places. Yeah.
Did you get your driver's licenses done, and how was finding a house?
So the driver's license was very easy and quite pleasant, actually, in comparison. It was funny, we were queuing in the New South Wales service office, and it was only literally maybe 20-30 minutes, and in comparison with what we're used to, obviously it was a very quick process, and you're sitting next to other people. Oh, it's taking so long. And, you know, I suppose it's all about your frame of reference, where you're coming from, because yeah, it's a lot quicker than where we come from. And it was and I got a 10-year license, which is amazing. So I don't have to go and renew it every 5 years. So yeah, very happy with with that process. Yes. And then, sorry, what was the second part of your question?
Finding a house. How was, like, where did you stay for the first bit when you just arrived, when you got off the plane after the 2 weeks of quarantine, which I assume was in Brisbane?
Yeah, so we quarantined in Brisbane. We're very lucky with the hotel we got given. We stayed in the Mantra on Edward, and we were given it was a beautiful place. We had our 2 bedrooms to ourselves with a laundrette and a kitchenette. And compared to what I've seen, what some of the guys get, yeah, we had it very easy in comparison. We had a nice balcony with open air we could open up. So very grateful for that. But yeah, 2 weeks is still 2 weeks. And then we got to
with a 3 and a 7-year-old, 2 weeks become like 4 weeks.
Oh yeah. And then when we eventually got the release from prison, we managed to get down to the Gold Coast with a family. So we stayed with our family for the first week. And whilst we were looking for houses, and yeah, everything happened very quickly. What we didn't appreciate at that time was the housing shortage because of COVID, and the knock-on effect. So you know, where we budgeted a certain amount for rental, that was, you know, 1.5 times what we budgeted, and we took the first property that we basically could, and it's a lovely house. You know, 5 bedrooms is way more than we need as a sort of family of 4. But yeah, we literally grabbed it with 2 hands because we didn't think we would get anything else. So we'd applied for a few that we weren't too sure of, and we didn't even see this property because of the borders and the lockdowns. We literally phoned the agent, and we did the whole walkthrough online with her sort of holding the phone and walking through the house. We said, listen, we'll take it. So yeah, in hindsight, we were very lucky.
And what has been the hardest thing for you with this whole move?
Network.
So far.
Network. I mean, my whole career, that's how I define myself, is via my career. And I suppose, you know, you're talking about the outcomes of COVID and that sort of thing. And, you know, the roller coaster that we've probably all been on over the last sort of 2 years is that, how do you define yourself? You know, do you define yourself by your work, or how do you sort of define yourself? And I'm very much one of those people that define myself by work. So I arrived here, and I've got a 20-year network of clients that I could call on back in South Africa. And a number of them have contacted me over here, which has been really great. And I love chatting to them. It's this breath of fresh air. So, you know, just that friendly voice on the other side of the phone. Oh, how are you doing? You know? And yeah, just having the ability to pick up the phone and ask somebody when you don't know something. And I don't have that opportunity here yet. You know, that network is going to take a long time to regenerate, and you don't know what you don't know. So this is a very long journey. It's fun. It's exciting, but at the same time, sometimes you want that shortcut to say, oh, I don't know so much about this. Let me find this person. He knows what he's talking about. So,
wow, it's good. Now, tell me, Ryan, if there's one thing you could do differently as a part of this whole moving to Australia gig, what would you change?
It's a good question. I don't know that we would change anything, to be honest. It's, you often hear people talk about the journey and just do it, the first opportunity that you get. And I don't think I would change anything, because everybody's journey would be different. We decided to pull the pin at the height of the pandemic. Potentially maybe to preserve some of our capital, it would have been nice to wait a bit, but we didn't know what was coming. So, we decided we were all in at that stage, and yeah, that was us. But I don't think I'd change anything at the moment.
And what do you miss about South Africa so far?
Oh, that's a very, very good point. So,
except friends and family, because that's a given.
so I just happened to be flicking through Netflix the other day, and I happened across Ultimate Brewmaster, and I binge watched the whole series, and it was just so awesome. Just the hiss, and there's no other word. Like you can't really explain that to other people. Is this concept of hiss, the contestants on the program, and it just brought everything, so close to home. And I was like, geez, I haven't had that hiss with other people here yet. It's obviously far too early, but I think South Africans have this hiss, and it's just it binds us all together, and it's just great. It was just so nice to see that again. And so I suppose that was also, made me think of home and how I missed it.
Yeah. So thanks for the tip about the story. So I'll go and look it up. It's on Netflix, you said?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go and look it up. Do some binging on Brewmaster.
There's some beautiful areas that they visited in the Eastern Cape there. It really was good.
Oh, nice. And thanks so much for having a chat and sharing your story, Ryan. It's been really great to hear how you've only just come across. To me, it feels like it was yesterday. I'm sure to you it feels like it's been a lifetime already. and
it's a bullet train. It goes at 1,000,000 miles an hour. So you're on the train. Just enjoy the journey, and
and stop and smell the roses.
if you get the opportunity, definitely. Yeah.
Thanks again so much for the chat. I really appreciate it, and hopefully we can catch up in another couple of years and see how you guys are faring.
Great, Shamini, thank you, and good luck to the people that are watching this, and hopefully you make the decision to obviously go and just enjoy it. It's, as I say, everybody's on a journey, and your journey will be different, but start it. That's you got to start somewhere,
and hold on tight.
Yeah. Hold on tight.
Awesome. Thanks, Ryan. Take care.
Thanks, Shamini. Have a good one.
You will do. Bye.
All right. So thank you so much for joining me today. If you had fun, please remember to hit that subscribe button, and then it'll make sure that you never miss a thing. I'll see you same time and same place next week. Bye for now.